Boston defeats Dallas 105-98. I had a couple of takeaways from game two, but I'm curious to hear your opinion. What did you take away from game two?
Man, uh, game two.
Yep. Or
The
did
way
you did you want to go to game one or did you want to go do game two?
um, I mean, yeah, we'll speak on game two, but I'm really speaking on the series as a whole so far.
Mm,
Between
okay.
one and two, because I feel like the games were the same.
Yeah.
Game one you had Porzingis, game two you had Drew Holiday. Game one
Hmm.
and two, Tatum plays bad. Game one and two, Brown plays good on both sides of the ball. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of like the same game two times in a row, just one was closer.
Hmm.
But I don't know, game. I'm nervous for Dallas.
Wow.
That's you already know that's who I was rooting for. But I mean, Kyrie was what 6 for 18 in both of them. You know, and like, and he was. I mean, he took 18 shots. You know,
Man.
and PJ Washington had 17 in this one. So it's like you had, you know what I'm saying? You had that other guy going. Yeah, it wasn't going from three for him or really for any of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
But I think this is Luka's Heat versus Mavs. That's what
Mm.
it looks like. You know what I'm
I know
saying?
what you mean.
It's like I expect Luka here. When we had this discussion, it's like I expect more of these for Luka. You
Yeah.
know, Boston. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
If Jimmy was healthy, if he was healthy, I don't even know if you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but just with Jaylen Brown, though, he's playing his tail off. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually happy for Boston at this point. Like this was I had no dog in the fight with
Yeah.
this matchup. I want to see Kyrie win, obviously. Same time, I'm really happy for Boston. Like it's for them to be up 2-0 right now, which let's be honest, we've seen them up 2-0 before in the finals and they
Hmm.
lost. Oh no, I don't think they went up 2-0. That was the Suns I'm thinking about. But
Yeah.
Boston did have a good run against who was it? Golden State that one time. Took
Yep.
six. But ultimately, man, Tatum needs this for his career. Brown needs this for his career.
Yeah.
They do need it. But a series don't start till we get on the road. So
Facts.
somebody gets a win on the road.
Facts.
So we'll see if the home cooking will help Dallas, but this just doesn't. This looks like Dallas versus Minnesota. It's like even though you kept it close in the second one, I really didn't feel like you was close.
Facts. Facts. Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
but I mean, we're gonna find out. We're gonna
Yeah.
find out.
Man, you gave some good points. First, I want to reference both of the series, all three of the series that you touched. One, were you talking about the '06 Heat versus Mavs, or were you talking about the 2012?
Now when Brian lost to the Mavs.
Ah, okay, okay. And here's the funny thing, right? Like, I don't think Luca has any pressure on him because even in watching both of these games, Luca still got his, right? But before I even touch Dallas, I want to give props to Boston. I'm with you on I had no dog in the fight in this one, but I was a little bit curious to see if Boston would choke under the pressure. And Tatum surely has in terms of putting points up. He looks very, very nervous. But I'm not going to discredit Boston and say that Tatum should have been their number one guy or something like that. I'm really proud of Jaylen Brown. He was always one that I noticed who had that dog in him. You know what I mean? Like Tatum always looked like he always like played like he wanted to have that dog in him. But like Jaylen Brown has always gotten better. And this just proves it this year. More than likely if they win, he'll get finals MVP. And big props to them. I mean, their coach has learned, and that's one of the biggest takeaways I had from game two was their coaching. You notice whenever Dallas started to get within 7, 8, 6 points, it was an immediate timeout. And right after that timeout was either a 2-point possession, something like that, that immediately gave Boston that edge. Because I'm just
Yeah,
like you. I don't actually think that, like, even in watching game two, it never felt close. Like, even game one, when they cut it back down to 8, I was like, they could just score at any point. Like, they just focus
yeah,
up score, and then they go up by 13, 15, and they close the game out. However, I will say I am highly, highly disappointed in Kyrie. I really think that's the biggest reason why like this feel of this series has been so one-sided to me. I'm not seeing Kyrie like actually like lead this series. He almost looks like one of the players that hasn't been there. Like it's kind of weird. Like we know we saw it in the last series against Minnesota. Like he really like came out and set the tone. He every game when he scored was very important.
Yeah.
And
He gave
this
them what they needed, but not in this one.
and it's not even close. That's the sad part. And
Yeah.
here's what I want to say because I was watching that game. I was talking to bro after the game, like after it ended, and I was like, "Isn't it kind of funny?" Every time like I'm seeing Kyrie come down the court and it's the fourth quarter, they're down by like 9 points or something like that. Normally he takes that three. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like one defender on him. Normally he'll do like a stop and a quick shot. You notice he's not doing that. Like I noticed he didn't do. He had Tatum on him in that left corner. It was like that left corner. He came down. He hesitated. Like I'm like that's his three. Like I expected it. Like that's his three. He didn't take it. He then gets ripped up when that happened, and it happened in game one, too, if I'm not mistaken, like it might not have been down by, it might have been when they cut the lead or something like that. He like looked every time he looked like he was about to take a three, he would hesitate and then move into the paint and then get ripped up. And I don't know, I'm just not seeing Kyrie. He seems so unlike himself. And maybe it's the Boston crowd, and maybe they'll go back to Dallas and even up the series. Maybe he'll play better. But honestly, I'm highly disappointed when I'm seeing out of Kyrie. He's not looking like that leader that we saw him all year long. He looks like he's one of the players, to be honest with you. It really looks like Boston has his number. He admitted it in the post-game press conference. And like, yeah, I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing out of Kyrie. And I think I think he'll get better. I believe he'll get better. I believe he'll play better. But we've all seen players have certain matchups against certain teams where they don't recover. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know that they can be better, but when they play that one team, it's like they just don't take it to that. Like they don't hit that level. And I'm highly disappointed what I'm seeing out of him. PJ Washington, I was actually very impressed with him. Like, yeah, his threes weren't falling, but what more can you expect from a player like him in the finals to put up 17 points? Also, free throws. Terrible for Dallas. Game two, that was the biggest thing I noticed. They lost by 7, but they missed about 8 or 9 free throw attempts. You know what I mean? While Boston
Mhm.
hit, I think they only missed one free throw or 2 free throws in the entire game. Very, very crucial. Um, and yeah, ultimately, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was highly disappointed in Kyrie. I don't have a dog in the fight. I want to see a good finals, but this is really looking like this is gonna be a 4-1 type of series.
Yeah, it's definitely giving gentlemen sweep. Um, it's really giving 3-0. You know,
Man. And isn't
it's
this funny? And this is one thing I did have against Kyrie. I talked to bro after the game, and I remember because you brought up that Golden State series. I was like, do you remember like Boston was up 2-1 on Golden State? Curry gives you a master class. And I don't believe they lost another game after that. I think the series
they
went
did.
6, but they went
Yeah,
like, and to me, I feel like that's how I don't expect that out of Luka for him to sense the moment. I expect that out of Kyrie. Like Curry had
yeah.
already lost the finals. Like he had already lost to Toronto when I think the series when they were down. It was like their elimination game. He had a chance to hit the game winner or like to tie it to go to OT. He misses the shot. Like he already had that moment of knowing when and where to do that. I'm looking at Kyrie. He's been to the finals numerous times. To me, yesterday's game may have been the actual finals. Like losing that game may have been the finals for them. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would expect Kyrie in that moment to know in that fourth quarter, put up the best that you
And
can.
that's the thing, though, bro. I think he was trying.
You think so?
Like, I don't think it was a lack of effort on Kyrie's hand.
Hmm.
I think he just one. You got to think, man. Tatum, Brown, they were young bucks when he was there. You
Facts.
know, you got to think, man. Like this is the guy that was saying that the locker room didn't have no championship mentality. You know, when they were in
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
Yeah.
You got to really think, man. They really taking it. Like Tatum Brown, like they're taking that You
Oh, so
know,
no,
you got Drew Holiday and Derek White too, but I feel like I expected more Drew and White handling Kyrie and not being enough. And then,
yeah,
but it seems as though they're like, hey, well, Luka can be great, but we cannot allow Kyrie to be great. You know, I
yeah,
mean, I think it really shows in Tatum and Brown's numbers. I want to say Tatum. Tatum is just shooting too much. You know, Brown didn't have the three going yesterday either, but Brown is not going to live and die by that three. You
facts,
know, and I don't really think that Jason Kidd or any of those guys was wrong when they start quoting and saying Brown was the best player,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And it's like, and then I mean, Dallas doesn't have the defensive prow to then
facts,
back up what they are not giving on offense,
facts,
you know? Um, it's just, yeah, it's just looking like a mismatch at the
facts.
end of the day. It's just not looking like this is the best matchup. You know, some people want to bring up, Luka maybe having some lingering injury or something. I don't
Hmm.
care about that. You're putting up a triple double. You know what I'm saying? If
True.
anything, forget the triple double and just put up 60. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, make them put three people on you. I don't know.
Facts.
But Kyrie is not. He's not coming along with them.
True.
But the only thing that gives me haste is still Boston,
True.
who we've seen crumble with these moments, right?
Facts.
Crumble with these moments. But I think it's a lot to say about last year, though, because people forget, Boston was down 3-0 to
True.
Miami and got that to game 7.
True.
That did something to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That did something to them. Like they probably felt as though last year was their year. The
Mm.
chatter doesn't stop. You go through the whole season, you win 60 plus games. No one talks about you. We really just everybody expects you to fail in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, and you can just see that that's not what they are thinking at all,
I agree
and they're
with you.
playing like it. However, Kyrie was a part of the 3-1 comeback in the
Facts.
finals.
Facts.
I'm sure if you go back and look, maybe those first 3 games weren't Kyrie's best first 4 games. Yeah, but
They
you
weren't.
know what happened in those next 3? They looked like some of his best,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's really, but this is why I said this reminds me of that early Bron. And it's like I get Bron didn't play good in that series, and Luka's been playing pretty well. But what Luka isn't doing right now, in my opinion, is controlling the pace. You know, Bron has this thing now where it's like he's like, all right, I'm not gonna just out talent 5 other talented guys. So then
Mm.
he learned how to control that pace. He learned how to, no matter what, Golden State wants to play this speedy game, but then that game 7 ends up being under 90 points.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
that you know what I'm saying? You just kind of like Luka guy, hey, you might have one of your favorite shots early in the clock, but you need to wind that clock down. You know what I'm saying? You need to make Boston slow down, right? Let
Hmm.
them shoot themselves in the foot because you can't beat Boston, but Boston can beat themselves.
True. True.
Get them out of the rhythm and start to make them second guess things. You know what I'm saying? Get in their heads.
Hmm.
That just hasn't occurred yet at all.
Yeah.
Uh, his pace definitely hasn't been there. Like just controlling the pace. Like he's balling, but it's kind of like he's balling like Bron be balling now, which
Yeah.
is like like Bron can ball out and not affect the game anymore. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Facts.
Like it's different because he can't control the pace like he used to. You
Hmm.
know, because and this is where Luka. Truth of the matter is, this is why it's hard to give us the. This is why everybody wanted Anthony Edwards to take that throne because you
Hmm.
play both ways, right?
Hmm.
The end of the day, Bron at his peak was locking up your best guy and giving you a near triple double. You
Hmm.
know, when
Yeah.
Rose was going off, forget it. I don't care if I got D Wade. I don't care if I got Mario Chalmers. Hey, Bron, this is you. This is your, you know what I'm saying? You're
Yep.
chasing Jordan. None of us are.
Yep.
If you really want to, you know what I'm saying? Get to a point, Luka. Hey, chubby or not, you need to make Jaylen Brown irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You need to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you can't, you always have to then rely on your PJs, your Gaffords, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a team like Boston is making you second guess having Gafford out there. And then you don't
True.
have a backup option. I do say this series would be hella different if Maxi Kleber wasn't injured.
I agree.
They don't, if they had a 5 man that could spread, because the Gafford Lively thing, there are offensive liabilities.
Clogs up the paint too.
Yeah, it's yeah, offensive liabilities clogging up the paint, which that's affecting Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, if the shot's not falling, he knows how to get to that bucket. But why would L Horford or Porzingis leave the paint for Gafford, for Lively? You know,
Nope.
they're not. So
It's
now
exactly what you said about the last series.
yeah,
It's very similar
it's
to that Minnesota.
why are we leaving for Gobert?
Hmm.
We're not, you know.
Hmm.
So now you have to constantly score on a crowded paint. Now you have to constantly, you know what I'm saying, like go through that. So I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna have to address those things. I don't know if there's a game plan to fix that, you
Hmm.
know, in this series. It's definitely something you can address in the off season.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, for the series, yeah, man. Unless Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, turns back his clock,
Yeah.
because let's not forget, I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, outside of like Al Horford or somebody, he's like the oldest guy left, you know,
Facts.
and
Facts.
he's up there,
Yeah.
so. And his role is very important. He's not like Drew Holiday, where it's like I could give it to you. Sometimes I cannot. Refine either way. Like
Yeah.
now they need Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Like they need I mean, bro, he took 18 shots. So let's just put it in perspective. A normal Kyrie in the finals, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's out of that 18, you throwing some free throws. That's at least 25.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think he had 16.
Yeah. Yeah. He
Is, you
did.
know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
give him 10 more points. What'd you lose by?
Yeah.
Less than that.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Lively or any of the other guys even matter if you have Kyrie doing what he should do.
Hmm.
And because that's Luka's Robin. You know,
Facts.
that's
Facts.
Luka's Robin. We saw how far Luka can get without a Robin. We see where he can get with the Robin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's just clear for the Mavs organization, like, hey, we just gotta make sure we keep a guy. You know,
Absolutely.
keep a
Absolutely.
guy.
And
I
you
don't
need a
think it's
legit third
about a
option.
super team, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's about a super team though. I think you just need a legit one.
Hmm.
Like PJ Washington has been that.
Yeah.
Honestly, throughout. He's a third leading scorer. In the playoffs, you just need that right guy. You know,
True.
but yeah, man, it's just at the end of the day, it's for me, it's just Kyrie.
Yeah.
You can't change that. 6 for 18 is just not enough in a
Yeah.
series like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Dallas knows that, and I hope Kyrie knows that too as well. But for me, it sounds like your series takeaways is Boston's defense and their depth. Boston's defense and their depth and their hunger to actually get it done this year is some of your biggest takeaways for Boston. And for Dallas, it's Luka needs to slow down the pace, and also Kyrie needs to come to the party. The other guys need to be consistent and they need to space the floor. You think that's their best option moving forward is to kind of spread that pace, not spread the pace, space out.
Slow it down. I think their best option is to slow it down,
Mm,
and Kyrie just has to be more involved. You
yeah.
know, I mean he's involved. He just needs shots to go his way.
Mm.
End of the day, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you
Um,
this. because Boston, to me, you said this before. We talked about this series before it started. You said Boston is very similar to the '04 Pistons. I was going to say I heard that from you first. I don't hear a lot of people kind of bringing that up, but the Pistons that won that year, they didn't necessarily have a one option. Everybody had an idea of who their number one was. They didn't have necessarily a one option. They had a bunch of guys who really played their roles very, very
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Do
Four
you
guys
think
to give you 20. Yeah,
four
four
guys to
guys
give
that
you
can give you
20?
20.
And you see that out of
Yeah,
Boston right now. You know what
yeah,
I'm
and
saying,
Boston
right?
got five.
Five. And Porzingis too. Also, it's kind of funny. He's so tall and he can shoot so well. He's really a mismatch out there for Dallas. You see him trying to guard Porzingis. It's kind of funny. He gets to that mid range, just pops it.
And he plays D. I mean,
He's
that's
7 foot,
another
bro.
problem for the Mavs. They're not doubling you.
Facts,
They're not doubling Kyrie. They're
facts,
not
facts.
doubling Luka. And you're not, you know what I'm saying? They're Luka, you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But 30, 10, and 10 ain't enough to win a whole game.
And that's funny, right?
You
Luka has a
know?
32-point triple double. However, he's outmatched by Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown. It doesn't matter how well Luka plays, or will Boston still win. Even if Luka does, let's say he gives you 40 next game, or he goes off for 45, 35. Do you think they'll
Nah, it's giving. If he wanted to win this series, you're gonna have to make those 50-point triple doubles. And I'm not saying that's something you can do,
facts, facts,
especially if
facts.
you're a little hurt.
Yeah,
Maybe you can do it one time, but that's just the one win, you
yeah,
know. I mean, if Luka's hurt, you shouldn't have been wasting wins this early. At the end of the day,
true.
one of these, you could say game two should have been yours. I'm not saying the Mavs have no chance, but it's not looking like any of their other rounds.
Well, it's
You
so
know,
funny, right? Because in their other rounds, they didn't necessarily need like Kyrie was almost he was a wild card in all of this playoffs to me. Like he goes off great. He doesn't go off, but the other guys step up, do their job. They
but he
still get the
always gave
W.
you a fourth quarter.
He always gave you a fourth quarter, and that's something we are not seeing out of him. Yeah,
Not right
yeah.
now. You're not getting that. And nor yeah.
But you
And
brought
then
up that,
I didn't know what to expect from Boston because of who you played to get here.
yeah.
So this is the first time I didn't know what to think of you. This ain't the Pacers. This ain't, what I'm saying,
But you know what I
Miami.
trusted? You know what I trusted out of Boston? And goes way under the radar, but he did have a 26-point game in game two. I trusted Drew Holiday. I trusted Drew Holiday and I trusted Jaylen
Yeah,
Brown before this
that
series
veteran
even
leadership,
started. Yeah, I trusted those two. One, because I've seen
you
Jaylen.
know.
I've never
And
seen Jaylen
Drew,
Brown.
but you know what? And Drew showed the championship cloth in that
Yeah,
last one. Gave you 26 on 11 of 14.
yeah. And timely. He only made timely buckets. He
You
only
know what I'm
made timely
saying?
buckets. Yeah. It didn't do
Like,
too
you
much
know,
either.
come
And that's
on,
what you
like,
see. And that's what you see out of that veteranship from Boston. The other guys, they don't do too much. They just make timely buckets. Even Derek White. However, I will say this much. I did notice this in game two, the end of the third quarter. To me, that's when I kind of knew like this game was a bit over. When that guy makes the half court shot and it puts him back up by 9,
man,
it was like a
the
shot in the
backup,
foot. The
the
backup.
backup, hold on, that's like the backup of the backup. It's Peyton
Yeah,
Pritchard.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
that depth. You know what I'm saying? To me, when I saw that shot, I felt like it was the series,
A little
not just
bit.
the game.
A
It
little
felt
bit.
like that was the series. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the stroke of, I don't want to say luck, but blessings is just on their side.
Yeah,
You know
yeah, a
what I'm
little bit.
saying?
How about Derek
Like,
White's in the shot clock? The under 4 minutes, down by
yeah,
7 to put him back up by 10.
man.
The little stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Those are just backbreakers,
Yeah.
backbreakers,
And
man.
also too, this much. PJ, they're down by 7 with I believe 4 minutes to go, either 3 or 4 minutes to go, down by 8. This man, they have PJ Washington bringing the ball up. PJ Washington or Derrick Jones Jr., I'm not sure. He gets blitzed, he gets nervous, turnover. That was
Yeah.
one of those moments where I was like, why Luka or Kyrie? Kyrie, especially, why are you not bringing the ball up? Like one of the most important times of the game, you're not bringing the ball up.
Man,
Disappointing.
it
Disappointing.
is. It is. I think Luka had 8 turnovers in that game too.
How you like him going 2 for 10 in the fourth quarter? 3 points, I think he had in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but see if he doesn't, that's like damn near a 50-point game, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
honestly, I do I'm with you on a lot of the points that you made, definitely. And looking at a game, looking at the series as a whole right now, Boston's defense, their depth, their leadership, their dog, and everybody that's in that list of people that you named on Boston, they've all been here before too as well. They've all been here before. So I do expect a little bit of this from Boston. But it is Boston, so I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I think I think when it comes to Dallas in game three and game four, like we'll see. This could very easily turn around if Kyrie has a 30 ball and Luka has a 30 ball in both of those games, and then it's like 2-2. But before then, I am in agreement with a lot of what you said as far as the series goes right now. Yeah, Boston's defense is really a problem for the Mavs. Kyrie not coming to the party. They're not spacing the floor. And it's a lot of it's funny. It kind of feels like Dallas is kind of reverting back to what didn't get them here, which is Luka and Kyrie just primary ball handlers the majority of the time.
yeah,
Did you notice that?
yeah. I mean, I feel like they're doing what they got Jason Kidd. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's trying to make the right adjustments. Hey, let Derrick Jones bring it up. That way they can't pressure up the floor.
Yeah,
Um, because while they're not gonna pressure Derrick Jones up the floor, but it just makes it because you're trying to give whatever advantage you can to Luka or Kyrie,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
per possession, which I'm saying that's smart to do. However, like I said, Boston is just they kind of got too much. They kind of just got too much, man. You
yeah.
know, and it's like I can only talk in circles at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
Boston just
Absolutely.
has too much. You know,
I'll actually,
they have something to throw at everything that you can offer. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
um, and then like I said, man, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum are they're just stepping up defensively.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I mean, Browns, when he picked Kyrie, it just looked like,
yeah,
man, like, doesn't
yeah,
really matter who Kyrie picks out of all of you guys. He
yeah.
can't cook on you. You know what I'm
And
saying?
Jaylen Brown always took it personal, and Kyrie, even when he was on Boston, saying what he was saying about the young guys and all that. Jaylen
Yeah,
Brown was,
Brown was the one that spoke up.
yeah. And you
Yeah,
notice in these matchups, who's guarding him? Like he likes that. Like Jaylen Brown genuinely likes that. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
He
And
had
he's,
like Tatum, like you said, man. Tatum tries to bring the dog out.
yeah,
Brown, he is a dog. You
facts,
know what I'm
facts,
saying?
facts.
Um, I remember when they talked about trading him, and I was just hoping he'd go to like Miami or something, just because, or even the Pistons, low key. I did want him,
Yeah,
but
would have been
I just
nice.
feel like Brown just got that dog in him. He just got that dog in him,
Yeah,
and yeah. Like I said, man, Kyrie turning back the clock could change everything, but at the same time, it could still not be enough.
yeah,
Because you got to remember, Boston are winning these games, and you got Tatum out here 1 for 7 on threes and shooting
yeah,
poorly from the field.
yeah.
He's like you give Tatum plays like normal. I mean, all these games are like straight.
Blowouts,
I mean, it'll look like they're playing the Heat again.
bro,
Like, you know what I'm
bro. Ain't
saying?
ain't
Like,
that the funny thing though? It almost looks like they're doing that now.
man, like
Like,
what is Boston lost? What, 3 games? The whole two
yeah,
games, the whole playoffs.
yeah, yeah,
It's looking like the regular season for them.
yeah.
Like don't get beside ourselves. Everybody's like, well, they can shoot themselves out of a game, but I mean, honestly, it don't look like they will. It
Not
looks
when
like
they're locked
Tatum.
in.
It looks like Tatum will shoot himself out of the game, but not these other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe Tatum and Porzingis, but no, Brown's not gonna let him shoot himself out the game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's looking at the paint like it's minced meat there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm putting it on heads and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
he's posting up. You already know Drew Holiday, and it's like I said, bro. One game you got Porzingis, the next game you got Drew. Man, game three, man, Al Horford might give you 25. Like you really just don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know, with that
Yes.
team, it's like as soon as you start thinking that you got it, they got something else.
And that was
They
the
could,
biggest
like
thought
I
I
said,
had.
man, they could throw a wrench into whatever you're doing.
Yeah. That was the biggest thought I had. I'm like, if I'm Dallas, I'm focusing more so on Kyrie and Luka needing to have their games. Like, no matter what happens, you need to have your games. Boston, they can match you with anybody. So if I'm Luka and Kyrie, I'm thinking it's takeover time. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them, it's takeover time. You don't need to just drop 32. You need to drop 20 and a quarter again, like you did against Minnesota. Like you're gonna have to take this series from Boston. And that's exactly what Curry did in 2022, I believe it was when they played in the finals. That game was that game four or something like that when they were up 2-1. Curry took that
Mhm.
game. It was a close game all the way up into the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so it's like if I'm Dallas also too as well, I'm not getting too worried about the whole being down 2-0 necessarily because I'm thinking, look, Kyrie hasn't had his best game yet. We haven't played our best brand of basketball yet as a team. I don't think we've seen the best from Dallas. Now, credit that may be due to Boston's defense, which I could very well believe, or it could just be jitters. You're playing away. So if I'm Dallas, I'm really thinking about, look, Luka and Kyrie, you guys need to have your games and you need to take over. Fourth quarter, you need to take the game. Like, and you don't need to be trying to get this to the last shot because the problem is you have too many players on your squad who don't have the same confidence or skill level as you, and Boston does. Boston 1 through 6, like we rank their players 1 through 6. Each of them could hit a crucial shot under 3 minutes. We've seen them
Man,
do it all
it's
postseason.
what we said before the series started. We were just talking on the phone, which was if the games were close, I was going with Dallas.
Yeah.
Well, the games ain't been close. you
Facts.
know,
Facts.
it's been Boston kind of manhandling them. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's
Absolutely.
like you're not even getting into like even when I look back at like last night, it was like a 10-point lead. Mavs got their points. It was 98-103. I'm like, well, maybe they can, what I'm saying? But then like Boston gets back up 10.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Right back
Boston's
to
not
10.
they're
Quick.
not letting, what I'm saying, or not letting them get in there, you know?
Mhm.
So I mean, and then I don't see Boston losing two on the road.
But what's
Truthfully.
funny though? What's funny? We had this series. Another series this series looked close to? That Denver versus Minnesota series, where it was down 2-0 and everybody's like, oh yeah, this series over. It's a wrap, no more. And then they win three straight. And I'm not saying Dallas is gonna win another three straight. It'd be very, very difficult. However, though,
It wouldn't be if Kyrie was like snapping, you
yeah,
know. But like you said, these whole playoffs, I haven't seen, and I haven't really seen that from none of the, what I'm saying, guys in that the guys that's kind of ending an era right now.